Shalom Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and of course those of you that are watching this broadcast on Israeli News Live, you will have to go to Patreon to get the entire broadcast or the broadcast in its entirety. There are things that will be mentioned in here that are very sensitive. We are finding this out already, even on Patreon, not because of the platform of Patreon, but we have also discovered one of Ayana's videos from the conference in Kansas was actually removed by Vimeo. So we are working on resetting that up, trying to make some changes so that, you know, as I said before, the whole purpose for Patreon was to put things out there that gives us less risk for our YouTube channel. If they would have taken it down on Vimeo, where we load to Patreon, imagine what they would have done to our channel here. Plus, too, yes, it is a subscription-based channel that serves several purposes. It does help and support the ministry, which we greatly appreciate the patrons that are doing that, but it also lets us know who is actually viewing the videos. There's no way around of just someone sneaking in. We know then who is actually on board there and who's viewing and watching. That's kind of a little safety bumper there. Anyway, let's get into this broadcast here. This is coming from Rise, published on their channel there, Third Temple Altar Dedication in Jerusalem. I really want to thank this brother that put this up. You're looking at Yeshayahu Hollander, or Isaiah Hollander, who is actually the head of the Sanhedrin. He also was the very man that represented Pope Francis as the defense attorney when the Sanhedrin brought charges against the Vatican, believe it or not. Very awkward situation in this here, and of course this is where they're dedicating for the Third Temple, the altar that would be used for the sacrificial service. Now, Israel's already been involved for several years now doing sacrifices of the lambs, and I am totally against this. You have to understand, as a believer of Yeshua, there's no way I could support the sacrificial services. And I think it would be wrong for believers to support that as well, or to even financially support something like this. Is it prophetic that things like this will happen? Well, no doubt there are prophecies, but we have to understand what side do we stand on? How are we going to be a true witness of who Yeshua is? So keep that in mind as well as you think about this. I want to play some clips here in this video for you, though, so we can see what's going on. And then I'm going to show you some really sinister things that are happening, backing up once again the Antichrist that is coming, and I believe he's going to have a Nephilim origin. So let's get into this right now.
The Messiah will be the judge. The Mashiach will be the judge, and not for what he sees, and not for what he hears, but what he smells.
You believe the Mashiach ben David is coming to
Mashiach ben David is very soon, and he is a Jew, and he is not Jesus. And if the Christians want to hold it, they can hold it. But we will never change our mind. We prefer to go back to Auschwitz and not to change our religion. This is the main thing. We are loyal.
What would happen to Christians who refuse this Messiah and hold on to Jesus?
Is that what we say? We say, I don't know, I'm not the Messiah.
Now, this is the dangerous part, friends. As Rabbi Hollander says on here, when you ask him about, you know, what will happen if Christians don't accept this Messiah? They will see, as he responds there. You have to understand, there is a deep connection between the Vatican, Pope Francis, Rabbi Hollander, and another very sinister man by the name of Adnan Akhtar, who is a Turkish man that pretty much openly claims to be the Mahdi. Now, all three of these are working together. And they're working together to bring about not only the Third Temple, they're working together to bring about this so-called Mashiach, this false Messiah that's coming. It's a very serious thing, friends, and we need to be more prepared. And unfortunately, another thing that I'm seeing a move of believers in Yeshua, regardless of your background, your denomination, whether you're a Christian, a Baptist, if you believe the name Jesus or Yeshua or Yahushua, whatever it may be, in the Hebrew Roots movement, etc., I have been watching steadily a fall away of the identity of Yeshua as the true, not only the Mashiach, but as his identity in deity, that it was God had manifested himself in his son Yeshua to the world, and also became the sacrifice to take away the sins of the world. And the reason why this is happening is because it has been a movement, an infiltration into the religious systems by Jesuits. Jesuits working with the Pharisaic rabbinical community to infiltrate churches all over the world, start movements, etc., in order to bring the people to a place where they would be willing to belittle who Yeshua really is. This is what's been happening. And this is the biggest tragedy I have ever seen in my life. And more, as the Lord has been revealing to me what's going on, how this Antichrist will come, why the Pope of Rome himself has been saying that they're willing to embrace aliens. You know, I had a letter from a friend of mine. He's just a regular friend, but he tells me that the ones that are really in control are those with the 9,000 IQ. He's talking about aliens. And aliens are only demons. They're only the fallen angels. And those fallen angels have managed to bring forth a race of human beings on this earth. Not just bring forth a race, but they've got a race that's been coming down through time. Yeshua clearly says it. So now, if you're ready to hear what's really going on, stay tuned. Go into Patreon and catch the rest of this story. And again, we're trying to preserve this channel. There are some things I am bold enough just to say flat out right. But some of the things I'm going to say now is too much of a risk. Let's continue on.